That's the way we've always done it. Wrong. No, it's not. That's what we're talking about today. Hi, this is Frank Buck, and this is the place to be if you want to get organized and make it look easy. When you or I question a practice that seems to defy logic, the answer is likely to be the same. That's the way we've always done it. The response shifts the blame, any blame that there may be, to some unnamed person at some unnamed time in the past. The response also indicates that no thinking is going to go on to determine whether or not what's been done in the past is still the best course for the future. In fact, there's a translation for that's the way we've always done it, and it goes like this: I don't want to take the time or the energy to examine if what we're doing is best. This story illustrates the point. It's an old story that takes different forms, but in this version, a young girl's helping her mother prepare Easter dinner. Just before placing the ham in the oven for baking, the mother takes a large knife and begins to cut the ends off of the ham. Why do you cut the ends off the ham? Asked the daughter. The mother thought for a minute and replied, well, that's the way my mother always did it. Well, a moment later, the young girl had vanished. Her mother saw her in the next room on the phone with grandmother, checking out the story. Grandmother verified that the story was indeed true, that she did, in fact, always cut off both ends of the ham before baking. And when asked why, grandmother thought for a minute and replied, that's the way my mother always did it. Well, as fate would have it, the elderly great grandmother, still very much alive, was a guest for Easter dinner. And no sooner did she set foot across the threshold of the front door than the inquisition began. Great grandmother, Mommy always cuts the ends off of her ham before she puts it in the oven. Mommy says she does it because that's the way Grandma always did it. And Grandma says she did it because that's how you always did it. Is that true? Did you always cut the ends off of the ham? With a smile as big as all outdoors, this elderly matriarch responded, yes, indeed, my child. I always cut the ends off the ham. But why? Asked the young girl. Without so much as a moment's hesitation, she held her hands about 12 inches apart and replied, because my pan was only this big. Circumstances and procedures. Decades ago, great grandmother was confronted with a set of circumstances. Her pan was not large enough to accommodate the ham, so she came up with procedures to handle those circumstances. She did the best she could with what she had. And that's what we do as humans. When we're confronted with circumstances, we come up with procedures to handle the circumstances. But too often, our circumstances change, but our procedures stay the same. And it's probably no more true than in the world of technology. How many times do you and I encounter procedures put in place in a bygone era? They were procedures put in place by good people doing the best they could with what they had. However, the circumstances have now changed, and what we have is so much better, but we fail to update our procedures to take advantage of new circumstances. And like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, we go to all kinds of trouble while ignoring the ruby slippers at our disposal. What if we were to confront today's challenges the way great grandmother in the story confronted hers? What if we did the best we could with what we have now in an age where what we have is way better? If it's true that good people in the past were doing the best they could with what they had, then the only way, that's the way we've always done it, has a chance of being true is if we are doing the best we can with what we have now. And that's quite a challenge. It takes more thinking than a lot of people are willing to put in. So, where are we cutting off the ends of the ham? While this video is still fresh on your mind, spend some time this week examining procedures at home or at work that have simply outgrown their usefulness. Hey, do you have a "that's the way we've always done it" story to tell? Well, if so, tell me about it down in the comments. What's your story about a time when circumstances changed, but the now outdated procedures stayed the same? I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you like this video, take a look at these two right over here and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos. Thanks for stopping by today. This has been Frank Buck, helping you get organized and make it look easy.